Joining me now is Chief Sales Officer and Senior Vice President Chris Matzke. Chris, thanks for joining us on Staying Ahead of the Curve today.
Thank you for having me.
Chris, you've obviously been in this business for quite some time, and how have public defined contribution plans evolved over the last several decades?
Yeah, Jeff, they've changed a lot, and what they've actually done is they've started to mirror what you saw in corporate America 10 to 15 years ago. And what you saw at that time was a de-emphasis on traditional pension systems. And the public sector has really followed suit. It took several years for that to happen. In corporate America, typically you saw the pension it was removed, okay, or it was converted into a cash balance plan and really isn't there any longer. In the public sector, however, the pension is still there. It's just as new employees have been brought on, the formulas have been reduced over time. So now that when you talk to a public sector employer, they don't necessarily lead first and foremost when they talk about retirement with the pension. They talk about the pension plus the supplemental savings plan.
So now, in your team is out in the field. Now the conversations have really evolved, and they've kind of shifted. The DC plan is becoming more prominent, like it is in other markets.
Absolutely, it is, and it's funny. In the public sector, they did refer to it for years and years as the supplemental savings plan. Now there's been a considerable effort to call it the primary savings vehicle along with the pension. So it really is a pretty significant change.
And you're seeing clients come up with hybrid plans. So they're kind of coming up with something as it relates to the pension plan, but more of a defined contribution focus.
Right, that is out there, that is popular in the public sector marketplace. Again, unlike corporate America, you didn't see a wholesale movement away from pensions. What you did see was kind of this hybrid type of pension plan, and that has found pretty sure footing out in the marketplace as well. So we're seeing pension plans and supplemental savings plans, and then we're seeing the hybrid approach that you're talking about.
Your client roster is very diverse: states, municipalities, local government. Are all of these entities applying ERISA best practices, or is it only in certain segments of the market?
I would say virtually all of them are applying ERISA best practices. It's a bit of a challenge in the public sector though, Jeff, because we still have co-provider plans in the public sector. You'll have, and it's typically a smaller municipality, they could have 2, 3, sometimes 4 providers. So if you can imagine 4 providers with maybe 30 or 40 funds in their lineup trying to be a fiduciary over 120, 160 different funds, that's quite a challenge. So I would say that most of them are adopting it, but it has a little bit of an extra challenge when you bring that co-provider relationship into the equation.
Chris Matzke, thank you so much for joining us on Staying Ahead of the Curve.
Thanks, Jeff.